Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another installment of Man Tries to Write NES Emulator in 2 weeks. So, last time I left myself some notes, because I'm a good boy. I had clean up flag duplication stuff, add async structured logging, and finish CPU instructions. So I'm going to start with the flag thing, which is absolutely ridiculous at this point. So let's go ahead and write ourselves update flags. And this should hopefully just do exactly this chunk. Alright, that's C, Z, and N. What about V? Okay, so here we go. This ought to do it. So if we just yank this, which does C, Z, and N, and drop some of this extra white space. Are those cherry MX blues? No, they're whites, or clears, actually. And I ended up ordering browns for work, so hopefully that'll be not too bad. Oops. So all of this works for the reg val. This, I guess, is the other val, and it should be a 16. And then for this one, we actually need a little bit more. Maybe U8. We'll just go ahead and slide this in here. Well, maybe we want to break this up, actually. All right, let's break this up. Because it becomes a little complicated. Trying to muster up motivation to rewrite my CPU core to handle UOS, but it's easier to watch people stream NES EMU development. Well, if you'd use a real language, then you could just copy what I'm doing. Just saying. Got him. I was told that my stream was funnier when I was dunking on Psy, and therefore more interesting. So, here we are. Didn't realize a literal meme counted as a real language. With the power of fearless concurrency, anything is possible. What's yours written in? Is it CD++? Sharp? Regular ass C? I feel like ++, probably. No reason to copy your work when it doesn't pass tests. Hey, it passes all the tests it can run now. Oh, no, okay. This is what I need. CPU.update carry, obviously. And then... Oh, I have two called update carry. This one needs to be called update 0. Carry 0 negative. This one doesn't do the other thing. Overflow. Same. Oh no, this one only does 0 negative. Oh, and these take arguments. Oops. Dum-dum. Okay. Update carry val. Hang on. What am I doing here? If reg val equals 0, z. What nonsense thing did I do? This needs to be 0. This is negative. Carry is if the U16 result is greater than 0. Maybe I shouldn't do it this way. I was updating all of the flags in like slightly different ways. What a weird thing to do. Why did I do that? Pixel uses C++ because they grew up with it. That makes sense. It's also the first language I learned. It's probably not the first language I would recommend other people learn. It's a little bit complex for that, but it was what they had a book on at my local library. Support your local libraries. If I were you, I'd check the flag condition outside the update functions and just pass the result of the comparison. Well, I mean, I could do that, but then I don't save anything, really. I could have like a set carry, I guess, or a clear carry, or an update carry that just takes a bool, but that's, I don't know, sort of uninteresting. Alright, you know what? You're right. Let's leave the code that works working. It'll be somewhat better anyway. The problem with your approach is that different offset different ways of updating flags. Yeah, you're right. I don't want to screw with code that already works. That's how you go crazy. Alright, so update flag, and we're going to take flags, I think is what I called it. Yeah. So flag, flags, and then condition bool if condition or equal flag, otherwise and equal not flag. Okay, so update flag, flags carry, self dot, update flags, nope, CPU dot, update flags carry, CPU regs a greater than or equal to val. We'll do this one, which is a z. Val is equal to 0. Oh, that works quite well. What, passing in the flag as well? Val and 80. Oops, too many rows. The one problem with using JK is your escape key and Vim. Alright, let's just make sure that it passes us to the same point, which is invalid instruction A0 at CA38. Nope, because I needed to do self regs P in here. There we go. What? Can't leak private type. It doesn't return anything. What are you talking about? Private type in public interface. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's just make it a private interface. Doesn't need to be public. At least not yet. It will probably later. Oh no! I did screw up. I thought I might have screwed up somewhere. Okay, let me just real quick, get all my stuff back. I'm pretty sure the one that I screwed up. Okay, yeah, that's a not equals. That's what I screwed up. And this is why we test. There we go. Okay, good. Now we'll just run through and do all of them like this. This one's exactly the same. This one's exactly the same. And I think they're the only two that are used. And I think they'll basically always be exactly the same. Doop. Z and N. Oops. Sorry this isn't ultra thrilling to watch, but gotta get things good and just don't want to be carrying around all this terrible duplicated code because it's just a recipe for disaster. Oh, probably should delete that and also finish doing the thing that I'm doing. How's everybody doing tonight? Got all your own emulators up to snuff? What's going on with Corgi 3DS? What has you doing NES instead? Somebody challenge you for a pizza? I'm still wondering on how the fuck I'm going to do for the GB's PPU. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. It looks kind of complicated. I was reading Lila's blog earlier about the NES PPU, and I'm not super looking forward to that, but I'll figure it out. It's tile-based, yeah. Not line-based. Oh, okay, I get what you're saying. That is a little weird. You were last working on N3DS support. Yeah, so how did you get from there to NES? Fortunately, the Game Boy is slow enough that not doing any fancy rendering is probably fine. Just write like the absolute dumbest code and you can always make it fast later. I know I'm like the poster child for premature optimization in the EmuDev Discord, but PPU outputs pixels at a time. I was planning to write the NES PPU pixel at a time because that seems like the best way to get like 100% cycle accuracy. This also makes the 3D pretty easy. What 3D? Oh, are you doing like a weird thing where you pop out pixels and stuff? I approve of weird things. You should absolutely do weird things. Okay. Flags. Fixed. Alright, should we do async logging? No, I want to make some forward progress for a minute. So the logging that I'm going to do is structured logging, which means that it will be filterable so that I can filter it down and just display whatchamacallit? Load Y immediate. Okay, that'll be easy. So that I can just display micro operations, or I can just display like various things based on various quantities or qualities. Yeah, man, that's the way to go. Do weird shit. It's like super interesting, and sometimes maybe something good will come out of it. I'm working on FastMem for Citra for ARMv8 hosts. That sounds really cool, especially since you are unlikely to encounter Windows. Okay, so that looks good. Just double check the listing here. Yep, CPY. Compare Y register. Okay, so just compare but with Y. So Sai warned me about this. For those of you who don't know, I'm not sure if there's anybody watching who doesn't know, but FastMem is an optimization that you can do to basically use the host MMU in your emulation of the guest MMU. You use mmap and kind of map multiple memory regions and just basically do all your guest mapping by calling mmap in the host. But you can't really do it on Windows because Windows has a mapping granularity of 64K and some other things that make it challenging. So you get reg by number regnum, which is reg name as you ate. Pass reg name into the, or no, pass reg num in here. I don't know why I did it that way. Oh, yes, I do, because it takes a U8. So you can, but you shouldn't. Well, not if you care about Windows, but if you're on ARM v8, you probably don't care about Windows too much. And there are other cases where it can be really good because, like the GameCube Dolphin, basically gets away without doing any real emulation of anything for much of the time. And so they get to cheat. Okay, that's true. That's completely fair. And I screwed up. Oh, there's no semicolon. Let me tell you, jumping back and forth between C# and Rust is not easy sometimes. So this is reg names A. Okay, so that should be good. Let's give that a run. We should slam into a C0 again. Nope, invalid register number. Oh, I know why. This is another thing I need to clean up. I was thinking about how to do it. I asked some folks on the Rust Discord how I might clean this up, because there's a totally unnecessary duplication down here. But I didn't super love the ideas that they gave me. I'll probably implement some of them eventually, but basically you have to like split it up into two different enums, and I didn't want to do that. It seems annoying. CPYM with Y. So it's good to know different languages if you want to various stuff. I have to write C# at work. That's why I do it. Okay, well, that looks like we failed. So let's do some debugging. It wouldn't be fun if it didn't blow up occasionally. Okay, so we get a C0, then we got an F0. That doesn't seem right. Wait, that's a C9? What am I looking at here? $68. Okay, so this is a C9, which is just a regular ass comp, which makes it look like maybe I put the A in the wrong spot. Yes, I didn't change the constant. That's what happened. Not working at a tech startup using Rust. Man, I wish. I would love to do that. I don't think that's actually the opcode that I want. Where's CPY? Oh, no, it is C0. Okay. I have thought a couple of times about trying to introduce Rust at my actual real-ass job, but I haven't actually gone through with it yet. No, you are still unhappy with me, huh? Okay. 86, A2, okay, C0, D0. That looks right. We made more further progress. C0, D0, A2. Okay, so we branched not equal when we shouldn't have. That sounds like something management would shoot down pretty hard. I mean, not necessarily. Probably, but not necessarily. Did I forget to change something here? I did. Oops. Didn't update the carry correctly to be based on the register. That should go away because it's not right. Or maybe I should just change it to register. At least if I were a manager, I wouldn't want people to be porting to a different language when they have other stuff to work on. Well, this would have been... what? Oh, okay. I see why you're cranky. This would have been a new project. It would have been like a greenfield thing. And it would have been just like a C, something that we're writing in C, and just replacing that directly with Rust, which is fine because the rest of our stack is C#, so the C is already weird. Okay, fine. It's not 100% fine, probably. D0A2, which again is probably not right, yeah. So what am I doing wrong here? I fetch the value, I subtract the loaded value. I have reg val greater than val. I'm getting branch not equal, which means 0 is not set correctly. 0 is value equals 0, so reg val wrapping sub loaded. So what did we get here? Reg is 0, fetch 40, result is C0, which means that actually it's load Y that's wrong. Because I didn't change the register. There we go. Alright. And then E0. It should be in here somewhere. I mean, I know it's going to be compare X. Yep, there it is. Okay, good. Reference E0. All this stuff stays the same. CPY. CPX. X. Go. E9. As I pointed out yesterday, this will get a lot more straightforward as I have implemented more and more of the base opcodes. Because all I have to do is remix the micro operations to implement the address modes. Okay, so subtract with carry. Obviously, I know what this is, and I know you can do the trick, but I don't know if I want to do it that way. Let's take a look at ADC. Yeah, because ADC is just using, can we see your vimRC? Sure. My vimRC is kind of a mess. It's a bit of a hodgepodge here. I've got a few bundles installed. I'm using Bundle to manage them because, again, I set this up a long time ago. Nothing too interesting here. I use JK as my, can I move to the right? Yes, good point. I forgot my face was over there. Okay. So I use JK as my escape key, my whatever it's called, and then I get really annoyed when the arrow keys spam stuff in various modes. so I turn them off in a couple places. I have this thing to auto source my vimrc, and then tab stops at 4. No expand tab because hard tab master race. Can I see your bundle? Yeah, there you go. Bundle, smart tabs, bunch of syntax plugins, CMake, YAML, Puppet. Got Tabular, which is really good. I used to have this other thing that did like fancy search and replaces. I don't know what happened to that. All good? It's really not terribly interesting. At least I don't think so. Yep, no problem. So I was gonna look at add. So add, I'm not passing in anything. So I think I'll just make a sub opcode, like whatever. Don't need to be fancy. How do I navigate between files? So I've got a bunch opened in tabs up here, obviously. Control W moves around between splits, and then if I want to open something else, I can just do tab F dot, and then I've got this junk. I don't use any of the like fancy tree view plugins or anything like that. I know they exist, but I also don't use C tags, and I absolutely know that I should use C tags, but I don't because I'm lame. This probably needs to be a wrapping add stuff too, huh? Because Rust. And that's something that NES Test is extremely unlikely to catch. Because why would it really? S add sub G. Thanks, man. Yeah, no problem. Do you use Vim? A minus M minus 1 minus C. Okay, and then hopefully the rest of that just works. And then it's SBC, sub. And we go over here, ADC, SBC, E9. It's not going to work. You're right. Why? I believe you. A minus M minus 1 minus carry. Seems right. Carry, clear if overflow in bit 7. Set if sign bit is incorrect. Set if A equals 0. Set if bit 7 set. This is the one most likely to be wrong. Carry flag calculation is wrong. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Overflow should still be, well, hang on. So let me think here. In addition, if you add 2 positive numbers and get a negative number, that's wrong. But in subtraction, if you subtract 2 positive numbers and get a negative number, that's fine. It'd be better to just use a generic add function that takes a value. Yeah. And I won't have duplicate code. You're right. Alright, fine. I got away with doing stuff wrong a lot more often before you got here, Si. Okay, so those are the 2. We're just going to go ahead and drag this out of here. CPU, and you CPU. VA is a U8. Loaded is a U8. What can I say? I'm all about correctness. Nice. Not enough tabs. Alright, there we go. Yep, and then we just call add CPU, or well, ambient CPU, pre-A loaded. At least that's what I say to myself to be secure about why Dobby is so slow. Again, you take all the fun out of things because I can't dab on you when you do it wrong. When you do it for me, rather. Okay, so the only difference here, I think, is that we just do that, right? Gotta be fast with your insults. Hey, I'm trying to code and insult simultaneously. It's a lot harder than it looks. Variant or associated item not found in microphone is 2. Okay, no, it's not. Constant with similar name exists. ABC, easy as 1, 2, 3. SBC. Cannot borrow as mutable. Consider changing this to be mutable. Actually, CPU, I think, already is a mutable reference, so I probably can just pass it directly. Yep. Invalid instruction C8. Is that the correct place that it should be? What did I just do? I did SBC, which is E9. Which is right here. JSR. What am I looking for? A C8. Yep, there we go. INY. So that looks right. Got an RTS right before it. So, okay, cool. INY. I don't even know what that is. Increment Y? Ini. Yep, increment Y. Setting the 0 and negative flags, but not the carry or overflow flag. Funky. I actually already have like a step PC opcode. Maybe I should just make an increment opcode. I forget what that does though. Step PC, steps PC, but it does it because it has to do it in 2 chunks. So okay, I'll just copy it and add modify. What happens in Rust if you don't do wrapping add? If you hit a wrapping or an add that would wrap in debug mode, then it explodes. If you don't, it will wrap in release mode. But having inconsistent behavior between the different modes is not ideal. Yo dog, that's funky fresh. What's funky fresh? Increments. Reg name. That's kind of weird. Yeah, it is a little bit weird, especially for a language like Rust. It's like, oh, we're going to be super explicit about everything. I don't super love that, but, you know. Oh, my bad. That needs to come first. So, squiggly. If it's going to wrap in release, why require being explicit about it in debug? I know, right? It's kind of weird. I assume that it was a compromise solution between a bunch of different people that couldn't agree. CPU.get reg by number, reg num. Gotta pass reg num in. And then we just gotta do reg plus equal 1. And then we gotta do update flags z reg flags and reg is equal to 0 and 80 is not equal to 0. Undefined behavior, right? Except that you get to define it. Like, that's the thing that always annoys me about certain types of undefined behavior. Like, I really want bit fields that work. That's all I really want from any language. Oh, I'm dumb. I decremented it too many times. Or dereferenced it, rather. It needs to remain a Maro. And these need CPU dot. Now I need to get rid of all this junk. There might be some architecture in 1965 doesn't wrap on add. Yeah, but you can emulate it. Like, whatever, dude. Imagine porting Linux 0.0.1 to Rust. That sounds like fun. I imagine all sorts of things. Okay, what am I looking at here? C8. Increment Y. Shocking. I didn't actually implement it. This doesn't have any addressing modes, does it? I don't see how it could. Oh, it does. No, it doesn't. Okay, I'm dumb. Alright. Any. And it's C8. And all it needs in the world is increment and fetch. Because it only takes 2 cycles. I can do it after I finish the challenge. How kind of you to offer permission. Invalid register number because I didn't add it to the list at the bottom. What a dumb list you are. List at the bottom. I really need to figure out what to do about that. Okay, instruction 40. C8. Blah, 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 blah. 40. RTI. Huh. That's sort of surprising. Is this correct? CA38. So that was correct. This is not correct. So my load Y, it looks like 8 an extra operation or something. CA36 was 24, which is bit. CPY or LDY is CA38, but then we don't. CA39 is the problem. LDY is supposed to increment PC one more time, but I used LDY a bunch of times, so what happened? Am I like crossing a page or something? That doesn't make sense. Hang on. How did I screw up LDY suddenly? I bet I know how. Yup. Making silly mistakes. Okay. Choo 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 E8. Which is gonna be INX, probably. Yup. Shocking. And then decrement Y. Laugh it up, fuzzball. This opcode is E8 X E. And now it should explode on DEY, which is 88. Yep. Whoa. Must have hit caps lock. Okay. Day. I somehow feel like having an increment and a decrement opcode is like dumb, but whatever. It's exactly the same, except it's got a minus sign. That feel win, no plus plus. I actually agree with you about that. What? Oh. Didn't put it in down here. Have too many places that require changing when I add a new thing. There's one down here too. There we go. This should work. Please work. Yep. Alright, CA. Dexy. Very easy. Pop you in here. Oops. Dex, Dex. And then Dex. This is going to be what? E, C, C, A. C, A. That's weird. That doesn't fit the pattern very well at all. But I guess it's correct, so who cares? Go! I basically figure I'll implement instructions until I get bored of implementing instructions, and then I'll switch over and add logging. A8. And I'll probably get bored of implementing instructions the moment that I run into something that requires a new addressing mode. Okay, so A8 is TAY, transfer accumulator to Y. Huh. Interesting. So is this going to be like a whole thing where everybody can move everywhere? We've got tax, we've got tay, we've got tsux, we've got tuxa, we've got tuxus, we've got tia. Okay, we probably are going to need a 2 opcode thing then, which is going to be kind of annoying. Because it means I'm going to have to add another underscore to every single handler function. But that's okay. It has to be, it has to be. Reg names, we're going to go and alright, we're going to search for comma. Alright. Oops. Hang on. What? Okay, so that is fine. And then search for num bracket and then do underscore. Oops, too fast. Ho hum. Should have done this in the first place, maybe. But I didn't know. Okay, good. And then I'll deal with this in a minute. No, I'll do it now. So we're just going to go ahead and yank all of this. Let R2 take all of this. s reg name as u8 0. Flag as u8 0. Arg R2. And then we gotta pass it in here. This is gonna be a U8 also, and R2. Okay, so this should still run, but it doesn't quite, because I didn't update the actual functions, which I basically don't use. So basically what I'm doing here, in case it's not clear, is I'm making it so that my handler functions for microoperations can take 2 arguments. Because in the case of moving stuff around, I need to be able to say move from this register to this register. And if I don't have some sort of way to take 3 arguments, then that's not going to work. Or it's a way to take 2 arguments, rather. Cannot assign twice to a mutable variable. Yeah, that's just because this is not an arg2, it's an arg1. There we go. Okay, so what other problem are you giving me here? Pattern move not covered. I want to delete it for now because I want to make sure that these run. Doodle-doo, A8, which should be the right number, hopefully. Yep. Okay. Now we put move back and we add it to this list here. Twice, I guess. Because we've got, I'm just going to add it in the second place as well. I could do this betterly, but I just wanted it to work very quickly because I felt like it was taking a long time and not very interesting to watch. What's your problem, buddy? Oh, you don't have a move up there. Sure. It's a good example. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're just going to do move with reg name. So this will be to and from, because AT&T syntax is an abomination. And from num to U8, except it's not to, it's from, obviously. Pass these in here, to num, from num, let to reg equal CPU dot get reg by number to num, and then from, and then all we have to do is just copy one or the other, but do we set flags? That seems ridiculous to me, but of course we do. Set 0 and negative. Okay, it's easy enough. Presumably using, from reg equals, no, sorry, hang on. To reg equals from reg, let val equal to reg. And then we update those, and that should do it. Boop. Nope, not quite, because that's not a comma, that's a semicolon, and this one doesn't even have a semicolon. I was a little bit afraid of that. So let's do this first. And hopefully that will work. See, this is an example of something, by the way, for people who hate Rust. This would have been such a nightmare like a year ago, 2 years ago, but in Rust 2018 we got non-lexical lifetimes, and now it can figure out like, oh, I'm done with this borrow, so it's fine that you borrow it again. And so Rust is just generally a lot easier to use these days. You should code this in Visual Basic, much easier. I mean, in some respects that's true. In most respects, it super is not. Okay, I didn't actually put in the thing yet, so honestly just got the middleman and code 6502 assembly. That sounds like more fun than doing it in Visual Basic. And that's not a knock on Visual Basic, it's just not a language that particularly interests me. I do think it's a you know, an important historical landmark, I guess. Alright, so this is TE, which is, I believe, transfer accumulator to Y. So unfortunately it's written in the backwards syntax, which means that we're going to do move, or yeah, reg names Y. I mean, fortunately, right? I absolutely do not. Look, they write right here, transfer accumulator to X, right? And then they do X equals A. So you see how it switches in between the two? You see how much more clear it would be if it was written the other way from the beginning? Also, this is obviously wrong. I combined tax and TE in my head. This one needs to be a Y. And this one needs to be an A. That does somewhat undercut my point, I guess. I ported Visual Basic to the Motorola 6800. That sounds like a kind of interesting project. Why did you do that? Was this like many years ago when that was a sensible thing to do? Or is that a sensible thing to do for reasons that I'm not aware of? I wanted .NET on my Sega Genesis. I'm somewhat concerned by that statement somehow. Alright, AA is tax. Exactly the same, except we put tax and an X. There's a lot to unpack here, right? I started in my head talking about the difference between Visual Basic and Visual Basic.NET, and then I just didn't keep doing that because I realized it was not going to be a valuable conversation. 98 is Tia, which presumably is just the reverse of Te. Yup, transfer Y to accumulator. Yeah, VB6 compiles to actual binaries. Yep. Y and A. .NET is the future and the present, considering I write it for a living. Which is perhaps not my first choice of technology stack to work with, but it's fine. It's pretty good, actually. I like C#. And even .NET is like mostly pretty good. I just wish it wasn't going through such a bananas transition at the moment. 8A. TXA. X. A. Like, I really like the idea of .NET Core. I'm glad it's getting portable, but also they deprecated a bunch of APIs that I was using. So it becomes tricky. But it is nice to have an official Microsoft-supported cross-platform version of .NET, as opposed to just, you know, Mono, which was great. Mono is an incredible project. TSX. what again? BA. DSX, DSX. Emulate Win98 on the Genesis. That sounds cool. Win98 was good. Also, warning. TXS does not set flags. It says it does. Oh, no, that's SX. TXS does not set flags. Okay. What the hell? That's annoying. Tax, Tay, TSX does, TXA does, TXS doesn't, and TYA does. Alright, fine. I'll just kind of hard code this. If tunum is not equal to flags S as U8, update. It's the only one that doesn't. Oh, needs parentheses. Also, it's not a flag. So maybe it doesn't even need parentheses. Rust is correct to not like my hack. It's a dirty hack. It even says so right there. What's 80? 80 is probably the one that I was... No, okay. So this actually, store X. I already got store X 0 page. I don't have a store X absolute. This seems like a good place to pause and add some logging functionality. So this is going to be a very Rust-centric part of the stream. If you aren't interested in Rust or Rust libraries or stuff like that, then maybe take a rain check on this one. So first of all, let's grab it in our cargo.toml. slog star. And I need some other stuff. And that's how the viewer count dropped by more than half. No, it already did that. I'm not really sure why, but a lot of people showed up yesterday, and about a third that number showed up today. Maybe because I posted on the EmuDev Reddit yesterday and people showed up or something, but maybe just people are more bored on Mondays than on Tuesdays. Okay, so we're going to use slog. Slog is the structured logging crate for Rust, basically. They did know in advance. That is true, actually. I still sort of doubt it as like the motive force, but well, let's just go ahead and build that and pull those in. Make sure I don't have those names wrong. Looks like I've got them right. I've got homework to do, so I'll head out. See? What'd I tell you? Rust is boring. Thanks for coming by, Simon, and your help is appreciated. Good luck with your homework. Okay, good. Everything still builds. That's nice. So first off, we're just going to literally do exactly this. Set paste, paste, and that should just work. Doesn't quite because I don't open a file, which I should. So let's go ahead and do this as well. Boop. Okay. NES log. Set no paste. Okay, so now this should run. Nope. No method named fuse for type slog async. It exists, but the trait was not specified. I need to use slog drain. It's because there's no kitty squad. You're right. I don't know where they are. They're off somewhere doing something. That should make me nervous, honestly. Drain.o, which I'm pretty sure is another slog thing I'm not using correctly. Oh, I need to macro use extern create slog. Or maybe just use slog. Should work because this is 2018. But no, and I need to use this one. FS open options for sure. Again, that feels like it should not be necessary because it's 2018, but whatever. Oh, speak of the devil. Hi, Faint. Come on up, bud. Help me get my viewers back. Come on. Jump. You can do it. I believe in you. You're so weird. Come on, jump up here. There we go. Good kitty. He's a good boy. Please do not step on my keyboard. Alright. Now we are provisioned with cat. You are a silly little flood ball. Alright, so now that we made ourselves a logger, we're going to go ahead and pass that into the CPU when we construct that. Oops, there we go. So when we construct our CPU, whoop, goodbye, we're also going to pass in the log. And then when we go with mapper, you're going to take logger, which is going to require us to use slog logger, I think. Expected value found macro file. Use bang to invoke the file, the macro. What? Oh, it's because I opened it below here. I thought I moved this also. Apparently not. Okay, so that builds. Now we just need to, anytime we want to do logging, we're going to do it with a mapper, or a logger rather. And so the thing that I'm going to do here is let's go to the CPU. We're going to add root logger. And we're going to add UOP logger. And we're going to add instruction logger. And I guess that's probably good enough for now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take root logger is logger. UOP logger is logger.new. Which gotta find myself the right way to do that. Let's just go in here to logger and look at new values owned KV use O macro. Okay. Oops, should be a comma, and then inst logger. Can't find macro O. Makes sense. macro use extern crate slog. And extern crate loading macros must be at the crate root. It is. Use crate. Oh, no, okay, it's because this is the library, so it has to be in here. Macro use extern crate slog. Do we have any Rust experts in here? Am I doing something dumb? Because I feel like that should be 2018able to not do macro use, but I could totally be wrong about that. Okay, so there we go. And now we're just going to go on down here and replace some of these things. Self.inst logger dot, I'm pretty sure it's just log. Or no, there's macros for this actually. I remember now. I do know how this crate works, just not enormously well, I guess. So there's log, info, error, debug, and crit. And then there's log, which lets you specify, I think. All right, so we're going to do this as, let's say, info. Info. Yeah. Okay. slog log for documentation. Log for documentation. Use wrappers and stuff. Okay, so we pass this, and then we pass this, and then we pass the key and stuff, and then there's some formatting stuff. Semicolon is used to separate message arguments and key value pairs. Message behaves like format args. Named arguments and messages will be added to key value pairs as well. Okay, that's what we want. So, self-logger executing micro op PC #x, comma, named arguments to messages will be added to key value pairs as well. All right, well, let's see if this works. So this is going to be uop. This is going to be PC. Let PC equal self.getPC, comma, uop PC semicolon. And then we'll just get rid of that, and then we'll see what happens. Argument never used, multiple missing format specifiers, multiple unused formatting arguments. There is an argument named PC. Okay. So I need to do uop equals uop, and I probably need to string it or something. Shoobity boop boop. slog value is not implemented for CPU microphone. Well, yeah, that's true. Required by slog single key. Okay, so I suspect this is going to be because it's not serializable somehow, or maybe I just need to implement the trait. The idea here is that we'll be able to just log things from the child loggers if we want, so we can see like, oh, these are the instructions I'm executing. These are the micro ops I'm executing, and just kind of like filter out to what is actually useful. Types that implement this type implement custom serialization. Without an implementation of value, you must emit using either the debug, display, or Serity value formatters. do have. Let's look at the log documentation in more detail, because I remember them talking about there's a tag, owning, format, and debug. Okay, so this is what I wanted to see. Can be prefixed with %. Can use question mark. Interesting. I feel like this should be doable. Typically, a design syntax is used in the form of k yields v, where k could be any type that implements the value type. It's possible to directly specify a type that implements the kv trait without the syntax. Sure. Any type that implements display can be prefixed with %, uses text representation. This is especially useful for errors, doesn't allocate any strings. Format debug. Alright, let's just include this as a. Let's just do it this way. So we're going to do executing microop and semicolon, and then we're going to do uop is uop, and we're going to use question mark, I guess, or no, yeah, and then PC equals PC, which is going to be %. Now let's see what we get out of this. Expected expression found parenthesis. I was told that that would be okay. Oh, it's because it needs this thing. Yep. Okay. Oh, this is probably not happening because it's info level, so let's make it crit level. Obviously wrong, but at least it will definitely be logged. Or maybe it will not be logged at all. Huh. What am I doing wrong here, friend? I probably should have committed before I started messing with this, huh? Oh, I'm logging to a file. Dum-dum. nesttest.log. Logger drop messages due to channel overflow. Cool. Cool. Executing microop, PC, uop. Okay, so that's basically what I wanted. The PC format is slightly not, but close. I can always replace it with format. I don't know why we're dropping all these channel messages. It's running too fast, I guess. And then we should probably log to the terminal as well. Or instead. Set paste, open, paste. Alright, term decorator. And then we're going to need to do like a drain join thingy, which I know you can do that. I forget how it works. It's down here somewhere. Fuse, duplicate, that's what we want. Alright, so this is gonna be, oops, set no paste. So these are both gonna be file drain, and then we're gonna go ahead and do term drain, and then we'll do let overall drain equal slog duplicate new file drain term drain. And now it should be logged to both places, hopefully. Except that I messed up. Async new drain because I didn't update these. Yep. File. Term. Go. Expected tuple. Maybe it needs a fuse on it. Probably. Value used here after move, which is absolutely fair because it should be term decorator. And this should probably be file decorator as well. Go. There we go. That's what we want to see. I don't know. We're still dropping messages, which is kind of weird. That's better. That's worse. That's worse. That's worse. But hey, at least we're doing something. So now, let's change this back to info. Let's see if we still get info. We do. I wonder why we're dropping so many messages. I feel like this should be... Or maybe we're just running this too often, which would honestly be completely reasonable. Well, you know what? I'm going to do research on that off stream, and I'll figure out why it doesn't work or why it's so slow, and I'll figure it out, and then I'll come back and fix it tomorrow. So let me just change this to be fix async structured logging dropping tons of messages. Okay, and now let's get back to work on instructions. What are we doing on time? Yeah, pretty good. We got like 40 more minutes available at least. So where was I? The last instruction is 8E, which is a new addressing mode. So let's look at that. Absolute addressing of store X. The best resource for this is going to be this. And there's going to be absolute addressing right here. This is a store, so it's a write instruction, not a read, modify, write instruction. Maybe I want to look at some of these other ones. Oh no, those are implied, so it's fine. Write instructions. So we fetch the opcode, fetch the low byte, fetch the high byte, and then write the register to the effective address. We already do this, don't we? Oh, we just only fetch half of it for Z's, so that should be easy. Oh, I already did load X abs. That's what I was thinking of. Okay, so the one I'm looking at, 8E, is store X abs. So, okay, we're going to take that, copy, paste, STX. This is 8E. Okay, so the first thing that we do is we fetch the opcode, which we did already, low address byte, high byte of address, write register to effective address. So fetch low, fetch high, and then this is just going to be write to instead of read to. And that should just work. Oh, it's just called write. It's not called write to. Read to, read and update flags, and then write. Okay. Do I have flags to deal with here? Probably not. That would be weird. Yeah, okay. Cool beans. So now we're on 9A, which let's just double check that that's what we expected. We had 8A. Oops. Oh, there we go. Oh wait, no, it wasn't 8A, was it? What was it? STX. This is 8E. My bad. Okay, so we got STX at C something. So it's got to be up much more. Okay, there we go. CDAE. That makes sense to me. And that's what it was. Okay. So the next thing that we hit is 9A, which is right here, which is TXS, which I thought I did that one. Guess not. Should be easy. Got TSX. XS. TSX. Paste. XS. See, this is the real benefit of going with this microcode-based approach, is that I barely have to write any code at this point. I've implemented most of the major opcodes. There probably are a couple of more, but it just basically works. I just glue stuff together from the various bits. So I'm glad that I decided to go this way. Load absolute, or load accumulator rather. LDA. And this is what? AD right here. So this is absolute addressing again. So it's going to get progressively easier and faster. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's not going to get too much faster, I guess, but because I still do have to actually do the thing, but it is a lot faster than it certainly is a lot faster than it would be if I was doing it a different way. How about that? What do I even have up here? Do I even have an LDA? Shockingly, I don't seem to, so let's just put one right here. LDA abs is called a D. Also view doubled since Giddy. Yeah, that's true, actually. I don't, again, think it really had anything to do with that. I don't know how people who weren't already watching the stream would know that my cat came to visit, but thanks, bud. Appreciate you. Alright, so I just did load X. No, I did store X absolute. What do I have here? I've got load X absolute. So load X abs is right here. Yank it. Go to load A abs. Get rid of these. Kitty is magic. Do not doubt the kitty. You're right. How could I? Okay, so that should just work. Instruction 40. Is that what we expect? AD, AD. Where's my PC at this point? CEAB. A2, 40. Okay. Is that correct? That seems like we went a long way. But these are all pretty linear addresses. So I guess I just had all that stuff implemented. Yeah, it does look like it's all stuff I did. Okay, cool. So in that case, the next instruction is RTI, which I think is going to be kind of a bugger. RTI, return from interrupt. Uses the end of an interrupt processing routine. It pulls the processor flags from the stack, followed by the program counter. Processor status after use, set from stack. Okay, so I've got RTS already, which is return from subroutine. So I think I just need to do that, but also have the stack stuff. So if we check this out, we've got RTS right here, and then RTI. Fetch next instruction byte and throw it away, which we decided was not true, and in fact is not true here as well. And then increment S, pull P, pull PCL, pull PCH. Is it not incrementing the PC there, or I don't think I'm actually incrementing the PC anyway. Alright, so let's look at RTS. And then just copy that. RTI, and so the difference here is that we do PCL, PCL, PCH. So we're gonna get rid of this, and we're gonna do P there. And I guess that's okay. What does it look like in this trace here? It's literally just 40, and it'll step over anyway. So I guess it's fine. I wonder if RTS is also like that. Let's take a look. RTS. Okay, well, you actually move, obviously, so not as easy to check. Okay, well, no, that makes sense because when you jump, your PC is pointing at the jump instruction when it gets pushed, and then when you... I don't even know if that's true. Whatever, I'll just let it run. I'm not hitting any problems currently, so I'll just leave it alone. RTI is which opcode again? It's 40. Alright, so I was wrong. That wasn't difficult at all, assuming that it works correctly. The ROM that I'm running here is called NES Test. It was written by Kevtris, who also made the NES... Not the NES Mini, the NES Super NT? Something like that. The Analog is the company, and they make very high quality replicas of old consoles. They just announced their Game Boy thing just recently, so some of you may have seen that, and I'm just basically running through it, implementing instructions as needed to progress. Each of the bits in A or M is shifted one place to the right. The bit within bit 0 is shifted to the carry flag. Bit 7 is set to 0. And then we set carry to the old bit 0. We set the 0 flag. If the result is 0, we set the negative flag in the usual way. Okay, so this is a new instruction actually. This is a left shift that I have to implement here. I guess I won't take, even though I know that eventually it's going to have multiple sources, I'm just going to leave it alone for now and only implement what I actually need. Let's look at Aura. Go ahead and boop. SHL. And what we want is let old val equal CPU regs A. Let new val equal, oh, I guess it's just left shift by 1. Yep. So old val, is it going to be a wrapping shift, or I forget what the Rust semantics for shill are. Left shift operator, blah blah blah. Required methods. Oh, I don't actually want to look at this. I want to look at Rust, let's say usize, that'll work. And then we want to see, so there's check shift left, which returns an option, which is probably not interesting because it only checks the shift size, which is always going to be 1. Overflowing shift, shifts left, and then tells you what you... Tuple of the shifted version of self, along with a boolean indicating whether the shift value was larger than or equal to the number of bits, which is again never going to happen. Saturating doesn't apply. Wrapping. Self-mask, RHS, where mask removes any high. So these are all just related to the treatment of shifts that are too large, which this is not going to be, so it should be fine to just do a regular old shift. Left shift 1. And then we assign A to value. We assign Z and N based on their traditional assignments. And then the only thing that is weird about this is that we need to set the carry flag to the contents of the old bit 0. Oh, this is actually LSR. My bad. This is too sure. want to do update flag, oops, carry, old value, and 0, 1 is not equal to 0. So if it is 0, then it will be 0, and if it is 1, then it will be 1. That's what we want. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do, is this immediate or accumulator, I guess, okay? So we're going to go ahead and just put that right here. Logical shift right, accumulator. The instruction is 4A. And then down here, just grab it wherever, I guess. Let's go with ADC. Start from ADC. And then we'll do LSR accumulator and SHR. And now we should move past that, except we don't, because I mistyped something somewhere. What's your problem, buddy? Oh, shul isn't covered. Because I didn't delete shul, I just added sure. Boop. Okay, now we're on instruction 0A. It's probably, it's arithmetic shift left. Is there another left shift? There's a rotate left and a rotate right. There doesn't seem to be a logical shift left on the 6502. All left shifts are arithmetic. Why is this called out as arithmetic left shift? There's no such thing as an arithmetic left shift. Or all left shifts are arithmetic, depending on how you want to think about it. That's sort of weird. Whatever, we're just going to do that, and then old bit 7 is the only difference, so 80, and all the rest of this should be the same. And then we need to actually just glue it in. So we're going to go ahead and do that. HSEX location accumulator. Gonna ASL 0. Okay, there we go. That ought to do it. This is getting slow, perhaps because this is a giant file at this point, but or perhaps it just takes a while to run through. Rotate right and rotate left. I think I'll do rotate right and rotate left, and then maybe I'll call it for the evening. It's been a little over 90 minutes at this point. I only really committed to an hour, but I'm having fun, so why cut the party short? Roar accumulator, and then we'll just do roll accumulator as well. Roar is 6. Roll is what? A 2. Oops. And we'll just go ahead and do this. Roar, roll. Got shul and sure here. We're just going to go ahead and do this. Turn them into roll and roar. Eventually I'm going to have to make sure these are all in the same order because they super aren't. Okay, so the only difference here is that we want to do val or old val and 1. No, wrong. That's not correct. Old val right shift 7. In point of fact, because we want the top of the previous value to become the bottom of this. So we move over 7 and OR it in because it's already a 0 because of the left shift, and that should be fine. And then we want these to be set based on the accumulator, not on this value. So maybe I should just do this here. actually. Old val, right shift 7. And then for the carry, how do we set carry here? This is left. So you set rotate left, contents of old bit 7, which I'm already doing. And then for rotate right, it'll be the same. So the only difference, again, is going to be or old val left shift 7, which again, those should all be 0 because it should carry out the other direction. And let's go. Let's see how those go. Oh, I forgot to actually implement them. Mobby. Alright. LSR. Yep. Copy. Paste. Oops. CT underscore ROL. CT underscore ROR. Okay. Roll. Roar. And I'm sure all of those will eventually have to be implemented with other targets as well. But we'll stick with the accumulator for now. Alright, we reached instruction A5. Just see what that is real quick. Arithmetic shift, logical shift, rotate, 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 rotate. We're looking for A5, which is load A. Presumably a different version than I have accumulated so far. A5 is the 0 page, actually, which, alright, I can do that, because I've already got some. ZPG, STX, STA, and bit. Alright. So I think the only difference between that and the other LDA, which is the absolute or immediate, is that you fetch once. Maybe I shouldn't have tried to do this. I guess I thought I was farther along than I actually am, but no, that's fine. You fetch to ABL, and then we read to A, and that should honestly be good. Except that it probably wants to be, oh, read to does update flags. Yeah, let's just go ahead and double check that real quick. 0 page. Addressing, read instruction, fetch opcode, fetch address, read from effective address. So yeah, there we go. Cool. Alright, gang. I'm going to say that's good for today. I had a lot of fun. I will continue to stream probably around 7 o'clock tomorrow and the next day, and then 8 hours on combined weekend days as well, if all goes according to plan. The goal, again, is to implement this whole thing fully by the end of next week. So that would be Friday the 1st is the target date. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. I don't... if there's anything that you can think of that would make the stream better for you or more interesting, feel free to let me know. I'm really enjoying doing the stream thing, but I'd like to make sure that you're all enjoying it as well. But anyway, see you next time tomorrow, probably around 7.